Shalom. I will give all honor, glory, and praises to YAHAWASHI, HALALYAM, QADASH, double honors to the elders and apostles, great wisdom, teaching this truth and certainty, salutation to the hopeful, let that spirit out of the four corners of the earth. Alright, so the title of this lesson will be A White Man's Heaven is a Black Man's Hell, Lyrics Spiritually Breakdown, Part 1, Introduction, right? So, I was watching some Akim. I watching a Akim video. I watching his live. He go by the name, his YouTube handle is GMS KC Living Waters. Let me see if I can find that Akim. And basically on his live, he was just showing, he was doing a live stream and he was showing how the white, the Edomites, they were living in a luxurious, in a luxurious fashion. They were, they're consuming, the fatness of the earth, right? So let's see if I can get it. There it goes. So it's an in transit, a ride through Kansas City, Esau Heaven, right? So I'm not gonna play that, but that video gave me the inspiration, through the Holy Spirit, because I think it was Apostle Gabar who mentioned, this song, "A White Man's Heaven is a Black Man's Hell," and when I saw that clip, and when I was watching this live stream, this came to my mind. So I thought, to do a breakdown, to do a spiritual breakdown, because this, everything in this verse, everything, in this song, is all true. It's factual, right? Because a white man heaven is a black man hell, right? You know, we are meant to be the rulers. We are meant to be the princes and the kings. We are meant to be over the Edomites. They supposed to be inferior. The white men, they're supposed to be the inferior race. Not us. They're the minority. They're not the white men. They're the minority. So and I put in the lyrics. I got it from the GNS. Right. So the lyric and these precepts I added it by myself. So the title of the song is "A White Man's Heaven is a Black Man's Hell." Is by Louis Farrakhan, and this is how he looks like. Like a so-called Negro. But yeah, so I'm going to get into this lessons. And I broke it up into parts. Part 1 will be the introduction. Part 2, depending on how many precepts I bring out. For verse 1, part 2, part just be verse 1, verse 2, depending on the precepts. Or I might just do part 1, introduction, part 2, verse 1, part 3, verse 2, part 4, verse 3. All right. So the song was released by the minister in 1960 when he was going by Louis VI, prior to his life in the Nation of Islam. Though he was living in, I believe, in Islam, Farrakhan performed as the calypso singer under the name The Charmer in his 2 occasions, briefly crossed paths, most notable in this tune. All right. So I'm going to get right into it. The introduction. So why are we called Negroes? Why are we called Negroes? That's the question. Why are we called Negroes? So Deuteronomy 28:37. And this all goes back to the curses. These curses wasn't these curses are not just referring to the American Babylonian American captivity, but to the Egypt, to the Assyrian, to all the other captivities that we were in. These curses follow the nation of Israel to this present time, even back in the ancient days. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37. And that should become an astonishment, a proverb, and a bower among all nations, whether the Lord Yahawah shall lead thee. Right. So it doesn't matter if you're in America, if you're in Germany, if you're in Britain, if you're in all the other different countries. If you're in Asia, if you're in China, Japan, you're not considered a Israelite. You're not considered a Benjamite. You're not considered a Judah. You're not considered being Judah. You're not considered being a Haitian. A Simeon, a Zebulun, a Ephraim. You will be, your nationality will be whatever, that nationality you are in your captivity. So, for example, if you're in China, if you're in China, you're known as a Chinese. If you're in Germany, you're known as a German. So that word proverb and a byword. Look that up. A byword is a byword is a see is a taunt. So they taunt, right? Is a taunt, right? Because right, a taunt so being a guy insulting a marking a mark, right? So so basically saying you're a Negro, that's a guy, a gib or whatever, a tunt. A tunt is the same thing. Because by saying you're a Negro, by saying you're a Haitian, you know, a proverb, like a proverb, byword, parable, sentence. So basically saying, you know, any meaning might will catch a Negro by the toe, wet back, you know, all these different, like Apostle Ronald would say, you know, so these are all sayings, right? Catch a nigga by the enemy, the money catch a nigga by the toe, right? Those are all saying and aphorism, right? Right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, catch a nigga, enemy, the money catch a nigga by the toe, right? You know, um, so again, and I can look at some bond words as well. Oh, here it goes. So the American British version, some version of the Iran uses the racial slurs niggers instead of tigers. So any Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a nigger by his toe. If he squeals, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Right. So those are proverbs, right? There's those are proverb or sayings, right? Um, so we are called these words because of the curses, right? To answer that question, we are, you know, those that's a part of the curse. And and first we were known as when we was in Africa, we were originally known as Hebos. Hebos from Hebos to African America to Negro, and also I think I want to let me see if I can get something else. Mm, I can't find it. It's like it, but you know, just going back to how these are our terms that was made up. We were originally known as Negroes. We were known as Hebrews, right? Hebrews, Israelites. Um, so why are we spiritually deaf, dumb, and blind? We are our people are spiritually deaf, dumb, and blind. They can't tell their eyes from their toes, right? Their fingers from their hand, right? So, and I'm talking about, you know, spiritually. That is, they can tell. They can identify what part that they are in. They can identify why. Who their true power is, right? So I got it here in Romans chapter 11, verse 7. It is written, Israel is not a Catholic, so this is written to the Israelites. So Romans chapter 11, verse 1. I know this is not part of the original precept, but it just came to my mind through the Spirit. I say then, have the Most High cast away his people? The Most High forbid, for also him an Israelite of the seed of Abraham of the tribe of Benjamin. Right? The Most High has not cast away his people which he foreknew. What ye not what the scripture says of Elijah, how he made make his intercession to the Most High against Israel, saying, so I'm gonna skip from here, because you know YAHAWASHI, he gonna have mercy, he gonna have mercy on the Israelites, but right now they got 2/3 of our people, they gotta go through their punishment, they for going off, for committing sins, for going against the laws. So this is Romans chapter 11, verse 7. Well then Israel has not attained that which he seeketh for, right? But the election has attained it, and the rest are blinded. Israel is seeking for what? They're seeking for a they're seeking for wealth. They're seeking for knowledge, spiritually knowledge. They're seeking for the kingdom of heaven. They're seeking for the true power, but they can't see it. They can't understand it, right? Because if Yahweh has blinded their eyes, they on the election will turn back to their true power on the election will get the true understanding, which the election is of the nation of Israel. 8 verse, according as is written, Most High has given them the spirit of slumber. eyes that they should not see, ears that they should not hear. Unto this day, unto this very day, our people still are not aware of their Christianity, are not aware why they're in America, right? Why they were been brought into slavery. Our people just think they were brought into slavery just to work. Our people don't know the real reason why they were brought into slavery. It is all due because they are spiritually bonded. Slumber, uh, severe sorrow, extreme grief, or a torpor of mind. Torpor of mind. So a torpor, which is a state of physical or mental inactivity, right? Right, which means that, which going back to their mind not being able to be open, their spiritually mind not being able to be open, right? They're not be able to see. A spirit of stupor, a state of near unconsciousness or insensibility, right? Meaning going back to that, their spirit is not of the light, it's darkness. Their spirits are going back to their mind. It's just darkness. It's dead. There's no light. They're right. So they're not able to see. Their mind's not able to be filled with light. They're not able to turn back to their true nationality. Because YAHAWASHI had given us a spirit of slumber. So if they do hear this word, if they do know that they are Israelites, they're not gonna automatically turn back, right? They're not gonna fully turn back, right? They're not gonna repent. We have people, our people, they know that they're Israelites, they're already fringes, but they're not, but they will still walk in a lustful and a deceiving mind state. They're walking, they walk with pride, and some of them don't know the names of their true power, YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI. They still call on Jesus Christ. For example, the Ayuasi. Um, and David says, "Let their table be made a snare, and a trap, and a stone block, and recompenses unto them." Right. Right. So let their table be made a snare, and a trap, and a stone block. Going back to them, going back to them serving their other gods. Um, going back to them, just doing being heathens, being a heathen mind state. That's a trap, it's thrown about unto them. They're not them not being able to turn back to their true power. 10th verse, let their eyes be darkened, so they may not see, and bow down their back away, right? So turn away from their true power, turn away from their from who they really are, so they're not gonna be able to turn back to the true power, to their true power. They will not be able to repent. They'll not be able to receive this truth, to receive this light that that their eyes can be opened, right? So again, while they're spiritually deaf and dumb and blind, right? Because Yahawah has blinded them, right? Because they're doing what? They're serving other gods. They're doing heathenistic things, right? They're not. They're they're not wanting to truly repent, or they're you know Yahawah referred to them as God's father's children, right? Let me see if I can look that up. My people is foolish. They have not known me. They are solid children. And they have not understand. They are wise to do evil, but to do the good. They have no knowledge. Do what? They're not. They're not. They're wise to do evil, but to do good. They have no knowledge. Why? Right? Because they're again going back to their eyes. Their spiritually mind is closed. It's darkened, so they can't do good if they wanted to. You know, and that's where knowledge goes back, I believe, to the word, dumb, stupid, right? They're void of knowledge, right? They're void of understanding, right? While everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind. Again, that's another question. So why is the Negroes, why is the white man making progress? Why are the other nations, you know, the other nations, Asia, you know, while these other nations making progress, but the Negroes, the Latinos, the Haitians are so far behind, so-called Negroes, so-called um, Mexicans, so-called Haitian, um, West Indians are so far behind. We don't get that. It all goes back to the curses. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43, the stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high. Who's that referring to? Get above who? The Israelites, right? And thou shalt come down low, right? So we shall come down low, which referring to the Israelite. We are in a low condition. We are in a low state. This is why we have to be patient. The scripture says about being patient when they are changed to a low condition, right? And now, the foreigners live among you will become stronger and stronger, right? While you become weaker and weaker, right? So, who's the foreigner? Who's they referring to? The strangers. They're referring to the Edomites. They're referring to, the Moabites. We are in this captivity in America, and you have all these other businesses that are mainly owned by who? Ishmael. Um, you have some businesses that are mainly owned by Edomites. You have all these different business in America, in these other countries, that, you know, who live among Jake. This is why when you go back to this video, this is a perfect example of, the Edom becoming stronger and stronger. They're they become stronger and stronger while the Jake, while the Mexican that live in projects, live in ghettos, right? You um, and not able to, go up and work right in positions, right? So, um, so not being able to, apply for different, things, right? Apply for loans and all that, right? So this is why we are, this is why he said, why is everybody making progress? Yet we seem to be lagging so far behind. This is spiritual, right? Because it goes back to the curses, the foreigners live among you, the NRT, the foreigners live among you will become stronger and stronger while you become weaker and weaker, right? And this, through what? Through drugs, you know, through houses, we are becoming weaker and weaker, right? We are had to rely on Wiki E to provide us our health care, to help us, right? Even though he's the one that's doing this, right? But it's all to benefit him and his people, right? You know, why are we mistreated? Why are we mistreated? It goes back to the curses, Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Consequences of disobedience. Deuteronomy 28:15 reads, But it shall come to pass, as thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of thy Lord, thy power to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses should come upon thee and overtake thee, right? So our people, what they disobeyed, they didn't do all the commandments. They didn't follow the commandments. They didn't follow the statutes. So those curses in Deuteronomy 28, 15 on down, came upon our people. Very came upon our people, to this very day. We are still under those curses, Now, why are we in these conditions? Going back to again, you know, the wicked E, they're ruling over us, the earth is out of its course, due to the wicked E. You know, we are not supposed to be in these conditions, right? But due to our people doing what? They want to, you know, honestly, do y'all. It's like, yeah, I did a piece of just came to my mind. Talking about that piece of this, I'm trying to find this where it refers to that that we can't, we shouldn't be defiling ourselves with the other gods, with the other nation gods, Uh, so I'm gonna go from here to Sakya. But yeah, that why are we in this condition? Why are we mistreated? Going back to the curses, Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Since our people, since our people didn't follow those statutes and commandments and didn't repent, didn't ask for forgiveness, those curses, 15 on down, fell upon our people. Stripped of our name, language, our culture, our power, our religion. Ooh, 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 tell me why, right? So why are our people stripped of their name, of our name, our language, our culture, our name, which going back to who? Us being known as Israelites, you know, our language, what? The going back to the Paleo Hebrew, the ancient tongue, the holy tongue, our culture, because our people, they have their own culture, their own way of doing things, um, you know, our how we wear fringes, those different things. Our power, who is YAHAWASHI, you know, the true living power in our religion. Going back to what? Um, to you know, Judaism. It's like, yeah, pretty sure. Let's see. All right, so Jeremiah 16:10. So and it shall come to pass when thou shalt shew these people all these words, and they shall say unto thee, wherefore hath the Lord Yahweh pronounced all these great evil against us? Or what is our iniquity, or what is our sin that we have committed against the Lord our power? So when you read up here in this 9th verse, it says, "For thus say the Lord of hosts, He was the power of Israel," right? So you're showing how that the one of the Most High, YAHAWASHI, he is the power of Israel, right? 11th verse, "Then shalt thou say unto them, Because your father hath forsaken me, says the Lord Yahweh, and have walked after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law," right? Again, going back to the curses, our people, you know, after all these other powers, after all these other gods, that Yahweh don't know that can neither talk nor walk. 12th verse, "And ye have done worse than your fathers, for behold, ye walk every one after the imagination of his evil heart, that they may not hearken unto me." Right. So our people walk after their own lusts, you know, they, you know, this is why Yahweh compares them as the devil. This is why Yahweh said that my people you are like the father of the devil, and the lust of your father you would do, right? Because our people, they're so wicked. This is why we say that our people, Israel is more wicked than the Edomites. The wicked. Our people teach the Edomites how to do wickedness, right? Our people is more wicked than the Israelites, right? Because they just have a perpetual state of darkness on them. Their mind is dark. They can't see. They are void of light. 13th verse. "Therefore I will cast you out of this land into a land that ye know not," which that land is going back to what? The land of Israel, that holy land that now is 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 um is taken over by Amalekites, fake Jews, Edomites, not neither nor yet nor your fathers. Neither shall you serve other gods day and night, where I would not show you favor, right? So they're going back to how I shot. He's not gonna be dealing with us, right? He's not gonna be, when we cry out for help, cry out for mercy. Yahweh Shasha, he would not tend to us, right? Tend to our needs, right? Because what we transgress, right? We went against his laws, his commandments, right? And the NLT, "So I will throw you out of this land and send you into a foreign land where you and your ancestors have never been." This foreign land, right? Example of this is America, right? There you can worship idols day and night, and I will grant you no favors, right? So this is what our people are doing. They're worshiping these different idols, Christmas, Easter, Halloween, all the idols, the different powers, these different that are not that Yahweh I don't know, because it's all Hellenistic, it's all heathen customs. You have where was that other one? The the um the dead man or whatever. That one in I forget. It was it was the dead man, the Labor Day one. Um, just showing how our people are so focused on, let's see if I can break it up. Burning Man, it was the Burning Man, Burning Man Festival. Right? It was a Burning Man festival, which going to sacrifices of burning. It's a ritual. I read the summary. It's a they do ritual stuff during that festival. This is Psalms 83, chapter verse 4. Um, they have taken crafty counsels against our people and consulted against our hither's one, right? So going back to what? You know, that crafty counsel is going back to what? Them, you know, taking away our language, taking away our true names, referring to us as Negroes, referring to us as Mexicans, saying we are Americans, saying that we are Haitians, that we're not a from the tribe of Judah, that we're not from the tribe of Benjamin. All right. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel might be no more in remembrance, right? And that's exactly what they're, you know, that's exactly what they did, right? But one third around the elect, they will come in remembrance of the other land, other true language, other true nationality, right? But two-thirds would not, So this is what they, did. They cut us off from being a nation, right? We are not. Are we in the possession of the land of that land of Israel, right? Are we called Israelites? Are we called, by our tribes? Are we in the, are we amongst our tribes? No, we are not in that land no more, right? We are cut off from being a nation, that the name of Israel might be no more remembrance, right? And this is what Esau is trying to do. They trying to, this is what the whole NWO is for, to have everybody under one control, under one rulership, right? Um, right. So here in America, all of our religious training has has been gotten by the preacher, right? So the Christ going back to Christianity, going back to these, to these, um, going back to Christianity. Yeah, Christianity is the main one. A lot of it's wacky and tacky, right? Like other apostle Paul like to say, it's wacky tacky. There's no truth in it, right? Isaiah chapter 9 verse 16. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, they and they that are led of them are distorted, right? So the leaders, which refer to who? The pastors, these so-called Christian pastors in the churches, right? That profess themselves as being true men, that profess themselves as being, having the truth, right? They, our people, fall for, you see our people every Sunday in these churches praising and worshiping so-called false image, the false image of, of our true power, the, the pastor, they don't have the truth, they don't have the truth, right? Fuck you. They don't have the truth, right? Um, right, because Christianity is supposed to it's supposed to indoctrinate you. Christian, these people, they say that Hebrew Israelites teach you how to think, teach you how to do whatever, but they tell you that if you in this, if you are a part of this church, the Hebrew, if you're a part of being if you are Hebrew Israelite, then you are part of a cult. The real cult, you know, is Christianity, because it teaches you how to think. If you, there's, the brothers, mention that if you ask a question about the Bible, about the scripture, in the Christian church, they will kick you out or something like that, because it shows how, if you don't think how they think, you don't worship the God that they worship, if you don't, if you don't do what they say, then, you you will not be a part of their organization, right? This is why, you have to, in order for you to even start a church, in order for you to, start teaching, in a church, you have to, the government will give you certain things for you, what you have to, what you have to teach your congregation about, they don't teach you about the church in those churches, they don't teach you about who the true name and the power of our Lord is, they teach you about this false image, Jesus Christ, right? Christos, right? He's a jail. So this is why, Yahawah, he set up pastors according to his heart, that would feed us with true knowledge. And then those pastors are not the ones in those churches, right? And he has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die, right? These preachers, you academic Christian teach us, teaching when you are in the Christian church, they teach you about a heaven, that's full of, that's all, full of stars, full of, just, it's just rainbow, sunshine, which the kingdom of heaven will be for that, only for the Israelites, not for the other nations. 28:45. Deuteronomy 28:45 reads, moreover, because, this goes back to the curses, because in order, when we die, we'll be live in peace, we'll be living a peaceful mind state, so it's going back to the curses that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die, because really this is going back to what Yahawah shall return, and set up, set up the kingdom of heaven on earth, every Israelite 2/3, they'll be ruling, right? They will be, there will be, they will have a new body, they will have a, they will be wakened, they will be in the heavenly body, So Deuteronomy 28:45 reads, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, which means what? Till they die, till we die, right? So all these curses, from us being, from us having the different diseases, from us, it's because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments, statutes, which he commands thee, right? So these curses, in order for us to even experience some sort of heaven, in order to feel at peace, we need to die on this side. We need to, you know, because these curses will follow us no matter where we at, no matter if we in America, no matter if we're out of America. This is why I don't get why these other like camps trying to, go to other countries, because you won't get treated no differently than you are in America, right? Curse thou shall that be in that field, curse shall that be in the field, right? Um, let's see. Curse, there you go. Curse shall that be in the city, and curse shall that be in the field, right? So no matter where we go, we'll still have the curses on us. But rather after we die, right? But all of the years that we are living, for us, there's nothing but hell, right? Because we're still under these curses, pain, torture, and misgiving, right? So Deuteronomy 28 and 20. The Lord shall send upon the curses, the curses, vexation, and rebuke, now that thou settest thy hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed. Right. Again, we are vexed, pain, when you're going through pain, torture, misgiving, you're being vexed daily, right? Until thou be destroyed again, till we die, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doing, whereby thou hast forsaken me, right? Because our people, has forsaken the true power again, the YAHAWASHI. And the Lord Himself was saying on you curses, confusion, and frustration, and everything you do, until at least you're completely destroyed for doing evils and abandoning me, right? So, pain, torture, misgiving, going back to Deuteronomy 20 verse, right? 28, 20, the 20th chapter, verse 20, right? That will say how much that, in control of that, going back to the curses. Yeah, the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxuries only for the Israelites. Isaiah 14. And for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and yet would choose Israel, right? Israel taunt, choose and set them in their own land, right? In their own land. And these strangers should be joined with them, and they should cleave to the house of Jacob. Who those strangers referring to? The other nations. We will have them under subjection, and we will rule over them, right? And will be our own land, and we'll possess the lands of the heathen as well. But we'll be our own land. Back going over there to the Israel, we'll be in our own land. Second verse, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place in the house of Israel, shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahawah for service and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were. They should rule over their presence, right? We will be ruling. Actually, 1,000 year slavery. We'll be ruling the other nation, over the Moabites, over the other, over the Ishmaelites, over the other nations, over the Edomites, and we'll be ruling over them, right? So filled with material luxuries, the real material luxuries, um, you know, we'll go back to, we'll have those other nations will own those other nation possessions, the Israelites will. Which the white man and the preacher has right here, that's not true. Well, it is what he's saying, in the heaven that he's speaking about, yeah, because guess what? You know, this is why I say those preachers and the church, they see themselves as as real men of the Most High, as real men that was sent, right? You know, and they paint this image that the white man is the God, and that the white man is ruling in the heavens, right? The so-called white person ruling in heaven, but the white man the preacher has right here. So we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. And they're both right here on this earth. Tell me why. Again, so this is what this defeat the hell doctrine. That hell is just a burning lake underneath the earth, right? Heaven and hell are just conditions, right? The white man is in the condition of heaven, and the black man, so called the Israelites, are in the condition of hell, in a low condition of hell, right? And again, this the example right here, you know, um, let's see, there's a nice house, you know, so 3. Obadiah chapter 3 reads, so this is concerning Edom. Edom would be humble, the so-called white man. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that says in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground, right? No, the white man's, he's in his above the stars. He's saying who will bring him down. He exalted himself as the eagle. Is the eagle is the proudest bird. They can fly so high. American bird, American national bird is the eagle. Is the bald eagle, right? It's a proud bird. So whose habitation is high, that says in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground, right? These so-called white men really think that no one will bring him down to the ground. They really think that no one can defeat him, can take him out his rulership. It's like fourth verse. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagles, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, says the Lord Yahawah. Again, going back to what they got these satellites, they got their, so-called satellites, they got their so-called, space armies, amongst stars, right? They got, they say who gonna bring them down, right? They, fly high, they try to reach the moon, right? These devils trying to, be as eagles. They're trying to go up into the heavens, right? Psalms chapter 82, verse 5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on it in darkness. All the foundation of the earth are out of course. Why? Because we're not supposed to be in this hellish condition. We're not supposed to be experiencing a hell. We're supposed to be in heaven. The white man's supposed to be in hell. Hell, they supposed to be in this low condition. They supposed to be in slavery, not us, and not the so-called Negroes, right? So the earth is out of course. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved into fire against the day of judgment, perdition of ungodly men. Right. So this earth that we're living in is, the purpose of it is for us to serve our judgment, for us to be punished, right? It's not supposed to be, not supposed to be a, is a right. Perdition means destruction, right? Utter destruction. The destruction which consists of eternal miseries in hell, right? Are we not experienced? Don't this captivity doesn't feel like eternal misery? It feels like eternal misery in hell, in a low condition, right? On this earth, right? Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 7. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 7. I have seen the servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Who's that referring to? Who's those those servants is referring to? Who's the white men upon horses? Horses represent, Let's see. So that horse represents that power that they have. All right. The horse, a majestic animal that embodies the spiritual power of independence, freedom, nobleness, endurance, confidence, triumph, heroism, and competition. Its symbol is associated with strength, courage, and freedom. So again, going back to power, right? Because they have that freedom now, right? They are supposed to be the. They're not. They're the servants, right? They are the base mans, right? Which I will get later in this lessons, but they're the they're the um, they're supposed to be you know in the low condition, in the hella condition. And princes walking as servants upon the earth. Who's those princes? Those princes are the Israelites. You know, the Israelites. We're walking as servants upon the earth. We have to go to jobs. We have to pay bills. We have to constantly, get our hands dirty, right? We have to do all these things, right? This is a lot to stay alive. Um, I did want to get that in T so I can see. It's like I did want to get this in T. I wrote it down. 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 7 in the NLT. And by the same sword, and by the same word, the present heavens and earth have been stored up for fire. They are being kept for the day of judgment when the ungodly people will be destroyed, right? So again, going back to how that there's heaven, this earth, was meant for judgment, was meant for us to serve our judgment. um, will he the call? All is easy to tell. White man heavens, a black man's hell. So let's check back into history, which reward our research and tell just plainly that before the white man gained entry to the east, right, gained entry to the east, this going back to Alexandria, him coming back into power, right? Alexander, a Mecca king, they conquer the eastern Mediterranean, Egypt, the Middle East, and parts of Asia, right? So I'm get down chapter 11, verse 3, because he was a mighty warrior. Before Alexander came into power, the West was the West Roman, Roman Empire, because the Roman was a vast empire. Even though we even though the Israelite ruled all across Europe, the main empire was Roman, and we ruled by Nerva, right? Uh, Nero, not Nerva, Nero, you know, Roman Emperor Nero, right? He was the first Let's see. I think I got this right. No, it was Nara Fahia. It was Nara. He was the first Black Roman emperor. Yeah, and he ruled the East Roman Empire, right? He ruled no, he ruled Roman, right? But while the West was ruled by Edomites. Chapter 3. And that mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. Who's that mighty king? That mighty Alexander the Great, right? Um, you know, before he gained entry to the east, right? And really, this should be down here, Malachi. But before he gained entry, well, because that's about to go. It's supposed to be down here. Actually, no, yeah. No, we can just keep on. It's all right. Malachi 1 for whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus says the Lord Yahweh hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall cause them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahweh has a damnation forever. Right? Edom, they were, impoverished, right? They were living as cave beasts, right? They were living as, as beasts. You know, they was impoverished because that's right, to be beaten down, right? You know, demolished, impoverished. Make a person in a Google definition, make a person or area poor, right? So Edom, they were living their true condition, their true nature, being poor. So they turn, to Alexander the Great, they return back in power, right? To the Renaissance as well. They return back into power and they start, Alexander the Great he start doing what? Starts, through, and as well through Christopher Columbus, Christopher Cabal, through so-called Renaissance period. You know, that's how he gained entry to the East. Through those so-called dark ages, that they say was dark ages, but really it's just the time that the Israelite was ruling, right? He was living in the caves of Europe, because during that time, the Israelites was ruling on the level of peace, eating juniper roots and eating fish raw, right? So this takes me to Job 1. Job present state is humiliating. So, but now they are younger than I, which referring to the Edomites, have me in derision, whose fathers I will have disdain to have set with my dogs and my flock, right? Because the Edomites, no one, they were Edomites, they were, you know, the lowest men, they were the lower class people, they had leprosy, they were cursed with leprosy, nobody wanted to deal with them because they looked the weird, right? Their traits, just their personality. Second verse, yeah, whereunto might the strength of their hands profit me, and when old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time desolate and waste. Right. So they fled into the wilderness. They are gaunt with hunger and flee to the desert, to desolate and gloomy wastelands, or going back to their cliffs, their rocks, that they dwell in. Who cut meadows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat, right? So they eat these abominable things, these things that are um, you know, this is why we can't follow the heathen customs, because especially the Edomites, they don't care what they consume. They pluck wild greens from among the bushes and eat from the roots of broom trees. So now that juniper, what's juniper? Juniper roots. These are juniper. Um, so they were driven forth from among men. They cried unto them as after a deed, right? So nobody, back then it wasn't their time to rule. It was time for it was Jacob that was ruling for those period of times. Up until the Renaissance period, right? So you know, nobody wasn't dealing with no Edomites. Fifth verse: to dwell in the clefts of the valleys and caves of the earth, in the rocks. This is why they are known as Mount Seir. Mount Seir is going back to to those. They are known. They're called Caucasians. Caucasians going back to the Caucasus Mountains. The Caucasus Mountains. Look that up. Um, right. So the Caucasus Mountains is where you get the word Caucasian from. So let's see, what did Caucasians, what did people want Caucasus Mountains? So, what color were the Caucasus people in the Caucasus Mountains? Um, so, there in Russia and the rest of pharmaceutical these people were called Caucasians. Then the only where it became a synonym for white people was because the German philosopher Christopher Miner saw that people from the region were the finest example of white people in the world, right? You know, these people dark, usually brown, right? Because they consider themselves as being the real beauty is dark skinned people. Not this white skin color. Our real glory, our real, even though beauty come from, you need even white people get tans, right? Melanin is the truth, is the true, the real beauty, right? Melanin. Revelation chapter 20. So, it's like, so they to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys and the caves of the earth, in the rocks, among the bushes, they brayed under the nettles, they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yeah, children of base men, they were violers in the earth, right? So they are children of fools, they are base men, they have no knowledge. They are nameless fools, outcasts from society, right? So this is why it's weird to see these people in power, right? To see these people in leadership, think about it. These are base men, they're low. Um, them returning back, them being fuck this them being, you know, being in that bottomless pit. Revelation chapter 20 verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, the old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Again, going back to Job chapter 30, they were living in those mountains, right? Those uh, cliffs, right? Because they were not in there. It wasn't their time to rule. It was a time for Jake to traverse and cast him into the bottomless pit. And that bottomless pit is referring to Europe, and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nation no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loose a little season. He's loose now. And Edomite, he um, to God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law, right? And they know the laws. They know how the earth should be run, but they do not according to the law. Right? Chapter 7, verse 25. He should speak great words against the Messiah and should wear out these things. The Messiah is referring to the Edomites, to Esau, to the top brinkers, to one that is empowered and think to change times and laws. And this is what he is doing by changing the times, by saying Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, by saying these Shabbat, these Sabbaths from Friday or Saturday sundown to Sunday sundown, Sunday evening, right? And laws, they're not following the true laws. They're not following the punish, right? People, right? How to punish. They're not. They got their own so-called. They're not even following their own laws, their own laws of the land, right? And they should be given into his hand until a time and times, the dividing of time, right? So he's not. He's changing the laws, right? He's not doing according to the laws of the Bible. Then following many of his explorers, right? So many of his explorers. So going back to Christopher Columbus, right? It's Revelation chapter 20 verse 7. When the 1,000 years are expired, Satan should be loose out of his prison. 8 verse, and he should go out to deceive the nation which are in the four corners of the earth. Right. So this is what he did, right? God and me, God, to gather them together to battle. The number of one is as the sand of the sea. right? So, he was bound for 1,000 years. He is now loose, for a time, for a season, right? Um, and through that, he was able to do what? He was able to, in the time he's able to do what? He have his vast armies. He have a vast empire, right? You know, this is a so-called white man. I'm not speaking of these other nations, the Moabite nation, because he don't look the Edomites, the white man. He don't look at the Moabite nations, the Chinese, the Koreans as them, right? This is why you have the Hiroshima, the bombing of Japan, Hiroshima, right? He's little boy and fat boy, right? So, um, again, right? So, when his 1,000 years are expired, Satan should be loose out of his prison, right? He gained entry into Asia and Africa. He gained entry into Asia and Africa, right? So, him getting his blessings, right? Genesis chapter 27, verse 28. Therefore, the Most High gives thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine, right? So he fatness earth, right? Going back to the materials, those rare materials, those rare uh, fossils, those those precious minerals, right? It was given to Esau. From China, he took silver and gunpowder. From India, he took jute, his fatness, right? He dealt treasures, so I'm gonna get that too in this lesson. Manganese and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mid East, he took barrels of oil untold, right? Mid East, going back to the Gulf War, right? To that Gulf War. What was that Gulf War all about? About white, by the Esau trying to go into other countries, trying to steal the oil, right? So the Gulf War oil spill, the Persian Gulf oil was one of the largest oil spills in history, resulting from the Gulf War in 1991. Was the Gulf War fought for oil? Indeed, oil was the driving force behind the invasion and will lead to U.S. military involvement, right? So, we know the white man had a play in that, to go to the Middle East, to go to that country already to get their oils. Deceiving, raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path, right? This fucking white man doesn't care about who you are. If you have something that they can take over you, not caring about the consequences. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 5. If these came to thee as robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Will they not have stolen till they had enough? Right. As the great gatherers came to thee, was they not even some great? So this devil, he was still he was still until he doesn't care. He was still until he felt like he done stealing, right? So I'm gonna get Habakkuk 2 and 5. Right. So the water, Yakum, stand in. Because I hope this lesson is edifying, right? Some real information. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yeah, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man. Esau is the proudest man. That's why YAHAWASHI referred to him as the eagle, right? The eagle is a proud bird. Neither keep us at home. This damn devil doesn't keep at home. No, he doesn't. No, this is why, again, this song, it says, from China into Asia and Africa. From China, he took silk gunpowder. From India, he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa for diamonds or gold. From the Mid East, he took barrels, oil, and told, right? So he doesn't keep it at home. He's always, this is why he's how his, America have their armies in all the different countries, in all the different countries, who enlarges his self desire as hell, who enlarges his desires as hell, and is as dead and cannot be satisfied. Right, this damn devil, he cannot be satisfied. He can't be satisfied. He had to, he had to, he had to, you know, the, you said it right. The song, he's not satisfied. He got right, but gathered unto him all nations and heaps unto him all people. Right, you know, right. So he's not satisfied. He's how to, he how he, got go steal something. He has to go steal some material or something. And if he does that, he's still not satisfied. He's not satisfied with death. Micah chapter 2 verse 1. Um, Woe to them that devise so destruction. Woe means destruction to them that devise iniquity and wreak evil upon their beds. When they mourn its light, they practice it because it's in the power of the hand, right? So the devil is thinking about how he's going to, rape, rob, and murder these other nations' people. How he going to take their materials. How he going to, take out the people, Israelites, right? You know, and they covet fields and take them by violence, right? And houses and take them away. So they oppress a man's house, even a man's heritage, right? This is going back to who? The Israelites, right? You know, they are what? They covet fields. They again going back to Middle East, going back to Iraq. They that word covet, yarn to possess or have something, right? So they covet, they yarn to possess or have that oil, that the Iraq have. They want to take control of that, right? They want to, they steal these. They are in thick clay with these other nations, right? They are in a huge debt with these other. What's special in China, America have like, I haven't looked at the debt clock, but I just know that they are in debt. They are in debt, right? Um, they take them by violence. That's why you got that. That's why the introduction, right? Because this is what the devil do. He just see you rape and murder, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage, right? And he does that especially to the Israelites. He, we had our own land. We were living. This is where you um, get the I forget what it calls, um, Sakya, but it's why we had land that we own in America. We had property that we own, but this devil, he did what he did best, rob and kill Israelites, right? So I'm gonna get second and Apocrypha. 13 verse 6. For wickedness has exceeded polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful words are fulfilled, right? So since this damn devil got power, wickedness has exceeded polluting the earth, right? To what? To wicked eat. You know, it has exceedingly polluted the earth. Because the whole black world has tastes of the white man's wrath, right? You know, Proverbs 4:16. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 16. For they sleep not until they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall again. Going back to this, you can't stay at his own place. He can't have to cause someone or something to happen. This is where you get these different wars. Gulf War. Devil, if he's not doing any wickedness, he can't sleep at night. Isaiah chapter verse 1. It reads, Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and thou did not treacherously with thee. Right? So woe unto them, right? Going back to what? Destruction. To them, right? To who? Wicked E. He when thou shalt cease to spoil, and thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, that shall deal treacherously with thee, right? Going back to the Israelites, like but yeah, so right, so he's I'm gonna tease like what sorrow with you Assyrians who have destroyed others, but have never been destroyed yourselves, right? So this devil, he oppressed the Israelites. He take our land. He destroys our people, right? And we can't fight back. We can't fight against this devil, right? Because he have all this equipment in the army. You betray us, right? These other nations, right? Referring back to these other nations, he betrayed these other nations. He will. This is why he's known as a damn serpent. This is why he knows as a damn devil, because what? He made these agreements with the other nations. But behind their back, as soon as they turn their back, the damn devil do some snake shit, right? Some serpent stuff. But ye have never been betrayed, right? But now these nations are realizing this. Is why you have 23 nations rejecting the dollar, and joining the Brits. When you are done destroying, you will be destroyed, and he will ultimately be destroyed by YAHAWASHI. When you are done betraying, you will be betrayed. Yes, the other nation, his own allies, would betray him, right? It talks about that in Revelations. I go into treacherously. To act or deal treacherously, but deceitful, right? You deal treacherously, right? You know. So this damn devil, he's a deceiver, And I'm gonna close out here with Amos 1:1. Thus says the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with his sword, and did cast off all pity and anger, did tear perpetually, and kept his wrath forever. And he again, he pursued with the sword Jacob, the Israelites, again, going back to, because we used to what? We used to have stuff here in America, our forefathers did, but still, he's still pissed about that damn birthright that he wasn't never his in the begin with, right? So ultimately, this is why the Bible speaks about the devil comes down with great rods because of the time of Jacob trouble. He's not even, he just, we are coming into that time. But I'm gonna finish the introduction off by reading this last bit. Who he called y'all is easy to tell. White man in heaven is a black man's hell. So my friend, is not hard to tell. A white man in heaven is a black man's hell. Hell no, it's not hard to tell. It's but I'm not gonna stand it much longer. I hope the water for you all going that stay throughout the whole entire lessons. I'm going to end it here. Again, all honor, glory, and praises to YAHAWASHI, QADASH, and I will do part 2, part 3, either tonight or tomorrow. Lord will. All right, Shalom.